Meadowlands, Soweto, Tshegofatso, known to friends as Tshego, lived with her family. She was 28, 8 months pregnant, and had plans for a baby shower on June 27th. Loyal friends recall she named her unborn daughter and shared baby clothing ideas the day before she vanished. Around 9 to 10 p.m., she tells a friend she's meeting her boyfriend Ntuthuko Shoba in Rudeport to buy baby clothes. Shortly after, she messages, "I just want to come home." This suggests possible conflict or unease. Security footage outside Shoba's Westlake apartment complex captures Tshego walking out and voluntarily climbing into a grey Jeep with Muzikaize Malefane, a man known to Shoba. No sign that she was coerced. The tone seems normal but ominous. Communication logs later showed that Shoba called Malefane 34 times on that night. 11 calls on May 29th and 23 more on June 4th, the disappearance day. By early 2020, Tshegofatso was 8 months pregnant. Friends said she was excited, yet also deeply stressed. Shoba had become distant, allegedly pressuring her to terminate the pregnancy. She refused. Now, Shoba had a problem. A baby outside his engagement would destroy everything: his image, his relationship, his control. Court testimony later revealed Shoba feared his fiancée would find out. He couldn't face the consequences. Not the shame, not the exposure, not the fatherhood. So instead of coming clean, he made a deadly decision. Forensics team confirmed Tshego died from a single gunshot to the chest. Foul play was obvious, not suicide. Authorities confirmed that she had been collected from Shoba's apartment complex by the Jeep driver, later identified as Muzikaize Malefane. Phone and rideshare data, CCTV and apartment entry logs firmly linked the pickup to Shoba's residence. You're watching Cases of the Continent, true stories from the African continent. Support us by liking, subscribing, and sharing. In May 2020, Shoba contacted an old acquaintance, Muzikaize Malefane, a man with a criminal history. What he offered him was not a job, but a hit. Malefane testified, "He offered me 70,000 rand to kill her. First, he wanted it to look like a suicide. Multiple attempts to kill Tshegofatso had failed, but on June 4, 2020, the plan went into motion. That night, Shoba invited Tshegofatso to his apartment in Rudeport. It would be the last time anyone saw her alive. After a short visit to Shoba's flat, a rideshare vehicle arrived. Not a Bolt, but a vehicle driven by Malefane himself. Tshegofatso got in, believing she was heading home. Instead, Malefane drove her to a deserted area in Durban Deep. There, under a tree, he shot her in the chest, once, killing her and her unborn daughter instantly. Then he strung her body up with a rope, staging it to look like a suicide. Cold, calculated, cruel. On June 8, 2020, 4 days after Tshegofatso vanished, her body was discovered hanging from a tree. Her arms limp, blood on her blouse, her belly round with life, now still. It was instantly obvious this was not a suicide. The public was horrified. Photos began circulating on social media. Within hours, she was identified, and a storm of outrage began across South Africa. Detectives traced Tshegofatso's phone, the Bolt ride, the apartment security footage. Everything led back to Ntuthuko Shoba. But it wasn't until they arrested Malefane that the full horror emerged. In February 2021, Malefane pleaded guilty to murder and turned state witness. He told the court, "Shoba was scared his girlfriend would find out. He told me to kill her. I picked her up. I did it." He was sentenced to 20 years in prison. at the Johannesburg High Court on February 2021. My name is Muzikayise Malefane. I plead guilty to the murder of Tshegofatso Pule, and I am here to tell the court exactly what happened and why she was killed. I've known Ntuthuko Shoba for several years. We went to the same high school. We stayed in touch from time to time. Around early 2020, he contacted me and asked if I could do him a favor. At first, I thought it was a business deal or something legal, but I was wrong. He told me he had a problem. A woman he was seeing, Tshegofatso Pule, was pregnant, and she refused to get an abortion. He said the baby would ruin his life. Shoba said he was engaged to another woman. His family didn't know about Tshegofatso or the baby. He said if his fiancée found out, it would destroy him. He was worried about public shame, losing his relationship and embarrassing himself at work. He said, "This baby will mess everything up. She's going to go public. I can't let that happen." At first, he asked if I could scare her. Later, he asked if I could get rid of her completely. He offered me 7,000 rand at first. I refused, but then he came back again, and this time he offered me 70,000 rand to kill her. I agreed. He said she was coming to his place soon, and that after she left, I should pick her up and do the job. The day of the murder, June 4th, 2020, I drove to Ntuthuko's apartment complex in Rudaport. He had arranged for her to visit him that evening. After she left his apartment, she came outside expecting a Bolt ride. But it wasn't Bolt. It was me. I had tinted windows. She got in because she trusted him, and he told her it was safe. I drove her out toward a secluded area in Durban Deep. We talked a little. She seemed uneasy. When we got there, I stopped the car. I told her to get out. And then I pulled out the gun Ntuthuko had helped me get. I shot her once in the chest. After she fell, I didn't leave her there. I took rope, tied it around her neck, and hung her body from a tree, so it would look like a suicide. That was part of Shoba's plan. He didn't just want her dead. He wanted it to look like she had taken her own life, so nobody would suspect him. After the murder, that night, Shoba and I exchanged more messages. He asked if it was done. I said yes. A few days later, the police found her body. News started spreading, but Shoba acted like nothing happened. He played the part of the grieving boyfriend. Why I'm telling the truth. I regret what I did. That woman didn't deserve to die. She was pregnant. She was innocent. I came forward because I couldn't live with what I did. And I know Shoba was the one who planned it all. He murdered her to protect his image, to avoid the truth, and to erase the consequences of his own choices. In early 2022, Shoba was put on trial. He claimed innocence, said he just asked Malefane to buy cigarettes during lockdown, that he didn't know he would kill Tshegofatso. But the court didn't buy it. The phone records, the CCTV footage, the inconsistencies in his statements, and Malefane's detailed testimony. Judge Stuart Wilson said, "This was the planned execution of a woman and her unborn child by someone she trusted." On March 25th, 2022, Shoba was found guilty of premeditated murder. On July 29th, 2022, he was sentenced to life in prison. You were willing to kill, to protect your image. Judge Stuart Wilson. Tshegofatso Pule is no longer just a name in a headline. She is a symbol, a reminder that secrets can be deadly, that controlling love is not love, that when society protects the image of men over the lives of women, tragedy follows. Her unborn child never took a breath. Her life was stolen by the man who said he loved her. South Africa has one of the highest rates of femicide in the world. Tshegofatso's murder became part of a larger movement calling for tougher sentencing for GBV-related crimes, improved protection services for women, harsher penalties for men who exploit, manipulate, or threaten pregnant partners. The Commission for Gender Equality welcomed the life sentence and urged the government to speed up justice processes. Calls were made for a national femicide register, improved witness protection, and psychological support for victims' families. Tshegofatso Pule is now remembered not just as a victim, but as a symbol of the cost of silence, male image obsession, and failed accountability. Her story continues to fuel public demand for systemic reform. Her name is invoked in workshops, women's conferences, and policy dialogues. Her death opened eyes. Her story changed laws, but it should have never had to happen. At Cases of the Continent, we tell the true stories that echo across the African continent. Stories of justice, tragedy, and truth. If this case resonated with you, the best way to support our work is by liking, subscribing, and sharing this video. Your support helps us keep these voices alive and these stories remembered.